I have a really weird fascination with baseball. I've never been into sports. I've never been able to play sports. But for some reason, I like baseball, and therefore I like films about baseball. The Sandlot, also titled The Sandlot Kids, is a film that really caught my attention. I thought, this sounds like I could really like it. And it was brilliant. It's a film that I really thoroughly enjoyed. Oddly, I hadn't heard of it until recently. It was released in 1993, directed and written by David Mickey Evans, also written by Robert Gunter, and stars, among others, Tom Guiry, Mike Vitar, Art LaFleur, and James Earl Jones. This is about a group of kids who all start to play baseball. It's set in the 60s, and it's told through the perspective of Scotty Smalls, who's called Smalls throughout it. And he moves to this town, and he hasn't got any friends, and then he makes friends through playing baseball, even though he's not very good at baseball. He's not athletic at all. And it's all about certain adventures they get up to, some more terrifying than others. And it's lovely, it's good fun. It's kind of like the friendships we see in things like Stand By Me or It. It's that kind of vibe, Stranger Things. Obviously, it's the 60s, a little bit more dated than those films. But it's that kind of atmosphere, and it works so well. And it's got a good bunch of boys here. Some get more attention than others. For example, Benjamin Rodriguez and Hamilton Porter, they're more focused on than, say, some of the other kids. But also Little Rascals as well. It's kind of got a Little Rascals vibe, which is one of my childhood favourites. But we've got a good mix of boys from different backgrounds, different personalities, and different ages as well. And I have to say, I love the way that Benjamin treated Smalls. I think there was a really nice, inspiring personality there, from which a lot of children could benefit. And Smalls as a character as well, I really liked. I guess I kind of related to him in the sense that I'm completely useless at sports. But he's not as useless as he thinks he is, which is really good. He's also got a strained relationship with his stepfather, and it's nice to see how that progresses, not always for the better. And then something quite terrifying happens towards the end regarding a special baseball, and I'm not going to say any more than that, but it was fascinating. I will say that there are two scenes in this that I thought were a bit weird. The first scene involves a fairground, and I won't say any more, but I just figured it kind of felt out of place. It felt like, I don't know what they were trying to achieve, maybe showing that these boys were trying to be big men or big boys, but I just feel like it didn't really work very well. I enjoyed the scene in isolation because I love films set in fairgrounds, but in the context of the rest of the film, I just didn't really take to it. The other scene is actually towards the end, so I can't really say anything in too much detail, but I will say kind of the climax of the film, when it's at its most action-packed. It just goes on for far too long and seemed really over the top and not really necessary for being, it just wasn't in tone with the rest of the film, and I'm not sure if that was the best decision, but it didn't really hinder my experience. I still enjoyed it for the most part. There's nothing really about it that I thought was awful, and I love James Earl Jones's role in this. I can't say what his role is because it will spoil part of the ending. Not the ending, but part of leading up to the ending. But I really enjoyed the film. It's good fun, it's family friendly. I did worry at the beginning. I thought it would be more of a child's film, like a kid's film, than one that everybody could enjoy. But actually, although it's rated PG, I think there's something in it for everybody. There's a great bunch of actors, and I'd say for the first half of the film, the acting is average because the story is average. There's not really anything that could get their teeth into. But the second half, Tom Guiry, I'm probably mispronouncing his surname, and I apologise if that's the case, who plays Smalls, had some really great emotions to show and really allowed him to do some really decent acting. And all of the kids, of course, were very well acted. Also, do you know what really annoyed me? This is really weird, but when they were in the fairground, each of the boys had a seat of their own on the ride. That would not happen. Absolutely, that would not happen. But that's completely irrelevant. It's just something that irked me. Really brilliant film. Absolutely love it. If you know of any other baseball films that are worth watching, I'd love to know them. There is actually a Sandlot Kids 2, which was released in 2005. So I might check that out and see what it's like. But the Sandlot, or the Sandlot Kids, really enjoyable. Definitely a film worth watching. Do you need to like baseball to enjoy it? Probably not. I think as long as you like films like Stand By Me, which oddly I don't like that much, but that's probably because we studied it when I was at school, so we had to watch it constantly. But if you like films like that, then it's probably something you will enjoy. Certainly it's one I recommend and will happily watch again.